round 3 of 8 of the Formula Drift Championship presented by Blackview. I'm Jared Deanda. With me once again is Ryan Sage. Every dog has his day. Not calling Alex a dog, but that's just as the old saying goes.
We're just waiting for him to catch fire.
And he looked amazing out there. So, all right, here we go. We're officially turning the wheels on our first head-to-head battle here at Orlando Speed World. Round 3, we're live. Jared Deanda, Ryan Sage. Here comes Vaughn, Gittin Jr., and Alex Hilbrand. Lighten up those Nitto tires. Both these guys coincidentally on Nitto tire as Vaughn, Gittin Jr. sticks it to the wall. Gets high, good angle. Alex actually works it up late on the bank, now transitioning into that first front clip. Now the second front clip. Nice job by both of them. Alex actually getting a little bit deeper, taking it out as Vaughn, Gittin Jr. Look at that. He is riding the rails, riding the lightning, and that Monster Energy Nitto Tire Mustang RTR. Alex did a good job catching up. Ryan, break it down for the second look.
Well, as we said, no walk in the park. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets out strong, establishes this lead here. You can see about a 2 to 3 car gap as Vaughn stays nice and high on the bank. Alex trying to close the door here. Alex a little bit of straightening right there as he falls back. Gittin coming wrapping around the second inside clip. Now this is where Alex is looking for an opportunity to attack as he takes out that inside clip, shallows up the line for a second, but then gets right on Vaughn's line, closes the door right across the finish line. So Alex looking strong on the second half of the run, but a very clean, consistent lead run for Vaughn Gittin Jr.
And here we go. Alex leading. Vaughn Gittin Jr. giving chase. Who's going to come out on top? Alex, solid initiation. Vaughn Gittin Jr. tucked into that smoke cloud, getting a taste of his own Nitto Tire medicine. Vaughn Gittin Jr. slamming down in that transition. Vaughn going on the inside, so you could see, as we talked about yesterday, that smoke really coming into play. Blinded by the smoke, not by the light. A solid run by both these guys. Look at that.
Like I said, not a walk in the park. Vaughn Gittin Jr. tucks right behind Alex Hilbrand. Alex stays on a nice high line here. Great angle. You can see a separation here. Vaughn knows that he accelerates, makes a little bit of a mistake, falls off here. You can see right there, Alex crosses through that first inside clip, now coming across Vaughn Gittin Jr., trying to look for an area to attack, but the separation is there between him and Alex Hilbrand. Alex is staying deep in that corner, and a great job there by Alex Hilbrand.
All right, here we go. Slide him left for Alex, slide him right for Vaughn Gittin Jr., Ryan, Andy, and Brian. One more time, they are going at it again, a one more time battle. A driver I was definitely impressed with yesterday. You can see the Dominican Republic flag on his roof. Jhonnattan Castro. He switched teams, switched vehicles this year in that Nexen Tires SR by Toyota 86.
So just hearing track staff is looking for Chelsea Denofa.
As we wait for Denofa, Castro looks like he'll obviously pull away from the line.
So our next set of drivers up, Daijiro Yoshihara versus Juha Rintanen, number 8 and 25th qualifier, respectively.
All right, here we go. Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, art design. Subaru BRZ, nice job on the bank. Juha Rintanen tucking in, and look at that door to door. Coming down off the bank in that first front clip, Juha exploding it. As Yoshihara, he taps it, knocks it over. Was not bumper deep into that front clip, so just tapped it. Treat that like a wall.
It was a great lead run for Daijiro Yoshihara, but Juha is keeping in here pretty strong. You can see Dai nice and high on the bank. Juha just a tiny bit lower here. Dai comes up at the right time as Juha tightens up here. A little bit of straightening by Juha in the chase position, hitting that cone. Nice job by Dai just running over that rubber stomper there, staying nice and deep into this second outer zone. Juha closing the door here, so strong, aggressive performance by Juha Rintanen in the chase, but it was really a very clean lead by Daijiro Yoshihara.
All right, let's alternate the order. Juha Rintanen will lead. Dai Yoshihara waiting. Right, as you said, the elements, the heat. These guys are in their race suits, they're in their cars. A lot of them are utilizing the cool shirts, which actually have the tubes and the water system that flows through. Kind of cools their core. But only adding as Juha Rintanen, looks like a little fender flare. Oh, and Dai Yoshihara goes into the wall. Another victim of that wall. We saw a few yesterday as Juha looks like losing a fender. But Dai Yoshihara independently going into the wall. Juha looks like he will finish it out. And Juha Rintanen on the debut of his new car.
Well, Dai starts off pretty strong here in his run number 1, but on run number 2, we'll take a look at just him here. You can see he gets super close to the wall, gets sucked up right into the barricade, and unfortunately for him, after a strong lead run, that's going to be all she wrote, because Juha at this point just needs to finish the run with those chase driver zeros behind the lead driver. The lead driver still needs to finish the run, and Juha is able to do that. And so after a pretty strong and aggressive chase run by Juha, he's going to be moving on into the top 16. So congratulations to him. Unfortunately for Daijiro Yoshihara, his surge from Atlanta will end here in Orlando.
And make it official. Juha Rintanen gets the win. Dai Yoshihara is knocked out. So we are going to clear the track of Dai Yoshihara's turn 14 distribution. And when we come back, we'll see our next battle. We'll see if Chelsea Denofa has got his car back together. We understand he's having a battery issue, so we'll see if Denofa will be pulling to the line with Castro or if he has to forfeit. Man, crazy turn of events. I mean, we talked about Denofa, he, had a bad luck in Atlanta. We talk about Dai Yoshihara. He had second place, and now he's knocked out. Anything can and usually does happen here at Formula Drift. Thank you for joining us. When we return, more action here at Orlando Speed World for round 3 of the Formula Drift Championship presented by Black Fuels. Also, Chelsea Denofa utilizing his competition timeout against Jhonnattan Castro. We are hearing that Chelsea Denofa has made it. His vehicle's ready to run, but unfortunately he used his one and only competition timeout allotted. These guys have never seen battle against each other. I'm talking about Alex and Vaughn. Vaughn and Alex both on Nitto tires. Vaughn will lead, of course, because of his #1 qualifying run.
And while we have the opportunity, Jared, for the fans at home watching here, you can see these yellow striped lines down the center here. That is the dividing line for both lanes.
Do not cross over those lines until they are completed. The yellow marks on the bank are showing you middle line of the bank as both of them are above it. Here's the first front clip. Vaughn Gittin Jr. narrows in on it as Alex Hilbrand surges forward. Doesn't seem to be as affected by the smoke. Alex does tap that front clip, exploding it off of its base. Vaughn Gittin Jr. dances over the yellow line just a bit, but no longer a definitive 0 or a deduction.
This run, you saw Vaughn Gittin Jr. hold off Alex Hilbrand just a little bit more. You can see a nice, quick, rate-to-angle initiation for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Nice and high on the bank. Alex is here at this point, now coming down off the bank. You can see Vaughn right there with Alex on that first inside clip. Alex shallows up just a tiny bit there, hits that inside clip, and then Vaughn stays nice and wide. Now, about this point, this is where Alex really turned it on to close the door on Vaughn on the first battle. So now Alex saw the lead that Vaughn put down. Vaughn knows what kind of chase that Alex did. And both drivers are going to have to try to outmatch each other in this run to find out who's going to win here and move on into the top 16 in this one more time battle.
Yeah, I got to think that Vaughn's spotter saying, hey, man, you really got to act like this is a final battle here, because the way Alex is driving, he's absolutely on it. He has the power under the hood. Coincidentally, Vaughn is sponsored by Monster Energy. It's a Monster Energy Nitto Tire Mustang RTR by the books, and he operates his RTR race team. But the IMR BMW, he deems it the hashtag Monster BMW. No affiliation with his title sponsor, but he calls it a monster because it is a beast. About 1,000 horsepower under the hood of that vehicle. Here we go. Initiating is Alex Hilbrand. Here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. You can see him surging towards the door of that BMW. Now coming down off that bank, Vaughn with a bit of correction. You see Alex Hilbrand, a correction there from Alex. Now transitioning out to the outer zone. Alex Hilbrand, he dials it in, brings it on home. Oh, and Alex Hilbrand. Oh, wow. What an interesting turn of events.
Well, let's take a look at this here. You can see Vaughn crosses right behind, gets nice snappy transition right there by Alex, nice and high on the bank. Notice that Vaughn's a little bit lower here. He's able to do that and gain proximity. Then he makes a mistake, falls off. You can see Alex a tiny bit of a mistake as Vaughn straightens right there. Now Vaughn trying to catch up. Alex hits that inside clip. Vaughn roping him in, trying to find an area to attack. He stays on a little bit of a shallower line to close the door here. Alex nice and wide, big angle here, holding it through the finish line.
Here we go. Slide him left for Alex. Slide him right for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the victory, and it's unanimous. Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the victory. Here we go. We are seeing our next battle. Chelsea Denofa and Jhonnattan Castro. Chelsea Denofa qualified 16th on his second run, which was definitely a bit dicey there. Oh, no. Now we are seeing cars leave, Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like both drivers are leaving the start line here. We'll find out some more information about what's going on there and why the drivers were pulled offline. But for the time being, we're going to be moving on to the next pair, which is going to be Tyler McQuarrie and Faruk Kugay.
And we are ready to see him do battle. Tyler McQuarrie will be leading in the Mobil 1 Safecraft Falcon tires. Chevrolet Camaro running that Safecraft safety equipment. Oh, look at that. Faruk with a big feint entry. Tyler McQuarrie. Oh, and Faruk all up into the walls business, but he reinitiates. But that will obviously not salvage that run. Oh, big mistake there by Faruk. Tyler McQuarrie's going to finish out the rest of the course. He'll have an obvious advantage here. The wall claiming another victim, Ryan. Wasn't coming to play. I mean, man, straightforward. You know, we've taken some of that debris off the wall. It looks like.
Yeah, watch Faruk on initiation here. Just a big initiation and mistimes it. Left rear bumper hits the wall, gets sucked right in, just like Daijiro Yoshihara. He tries to salvage it, but just cannot. Obviously, he's going to probably enact his competition timeout to take a look at the vehicle. It's pretty much his only option at this point. And Tyler McQuarrie, who's been looking very solid all weekend, coming in at a number 9 qualification spot, will have a big advantage going into run number 2 if there is a run number 2.
All right, so we have our girl down in the pits. She caught up with Ken Gushi. Talking about all this damage with the wall. Ken Gushi hit the wall yesterday. Looks like he's back out here. But our very own Laurent Nickel caught up with the Goosh.
You had a great day today. Unfortunately, a little bit of a rough day yesterday. Take us through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first session of qualify, the scores were so close. In fact, the top 15 guys were only separated by about 6 points. To go beyond that, you just have to do something spectacular. And on the second run, I figured I should just put it all out there. You know, no point in holding back at this point. So went in a little too rough, scrubbed the wall for the first hit. And I thought I still had it, but it's so dirty on the outfield. I got on that tire rubber and just sucked my front end right into the wall. So we broke a bunch of suspension arms. Fortunately, I had to put my team under the car, but they were bored all weekend, so it's interesting that we gave them something to do. But yeah, it's all back together now thanks to my team. Everything's working great. We made some changes to cater to tandem. A lot of these guys are extremely fast. Everyone's super consistent, so it's going to be a hell of a show today.
Okay, so now what's the plan? When you go into the wall, do you have to back it down a little bit, or do you just go full to the wall because that's what you're going to do anyway, right?
Right. I mean, at that point, you just got to cross your fingers and hopefully you don't get sucked into the wall. But yeah, you know what? I haven't had that sort of a crash in a few years, and I just reminded myself that, yeah, walls don't move.
Where's your confidence level with that kind of hit?
You know, it's a new day today. You sort of just forget about it. Brush it off. It's a thing of the past, and you learn from your mistakes. So I'm still confident. I know we have the right package, right car, you know, awesome team, and great tires with Nexon. So can't wait for the competition to get started.
Okay. And third place last year. How do you get up another step or even 2 more steps and stand on top of the podium?
Yeah, you know, Ryan Tuerck qualified second. He's coming in strong, but JR's on a roll from Atlanta. We did finish third place last year here with Ryan winning and Forsberg knocking himself out essentially in the finals. So if we can repeat that, make it into the final 4, and then even move on further into the finals and take that top spot, that'll be our goal. But it's just, you know, keeping your head cool, keeping the right mindset, and just carrying that confidence throughout from the top 32 all the way to the finals.
Well, trying to keep a real cool head on a hot day like today. Best of luck, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Ryan, crazy turn of events here, huh? I mean, from a pretty straightforward qualifying, we had a good practice session outside of, you know, Alec Honadale hitting the wall, but it looks like we are seeing Gittin Jr. and Rintanen. They're the only for sures that are in the top 16. Look at this, Fredric Aasbo. He won 4 events in 2015, most in a single season, and he is just one to watch. Obviously, the defending champion, Fredric Aasbo, the Norwegian Hammer, Rockstar Energy Drink, SR by Toyota TC. He's on Nexon tires this year. He's going against Andrew Gray, a Formula Drift Pro rookie coming from Pro 2. So Fredric Aasbo will lead, and Gray will be giving chase, and away they go. Here we go, Ryan. And Formula Drift fans around the world. Look at this, truly international. A Scottish driver, lives in Japan. We got a Norwegian driver that's traveling the world. Right now he's traveling up that bank. Nice job dragging it down, slamming it down. Papadakis Racing operated vehicle. Good transition through. See that big JZX 100 zeroing in on the door of Aasbo. Nice job by Gray.
You can see Aasbo, quick, snappy transition. Gray a little bit lower on the bank here. Aasbo nice and high. Great job on the bank by Aasbo, but you can see Andy just tucking in right there. Slight little bobble off of the bank. Aasbo on that inside clip. Now Andrew right here eyeing him up. Takes a little bit of a shallower line to gain proximity. So making a little bit of an adjustment to get that positioning right there. So here we go, run number 2, Andrew Gray, Fredric Aasbo.
You can see how Aasbo's car really reacts. You know, we have that paved section in the middle of the course. You could see a little bit of a bump, and basically, you know, you see the car. You see Aasbo navigate over it, and it's a lot smoother than Andrew Gray's vehicle. You see it definitely react to that jump. All right, so Andrew Gray will lead. Fredric Aasbo will be given chase. Here we go, Andrew Gray out front. Aasbo giving chase, initiating is Gray. Right there is Aasbo. Andrew Gray dropping down off the wall. Aasbo, here we go, talking about that middle section. Nice job by the cars right now. Andrew Gray, look at this big gap. Gray scrubbing some speed, put his car in the right places.
Not a good look for Aasbo. He starts off strong here. He stays pretty close to Gray, but look at Gray pull ahead of Aasbo. Now, Gray's on a mid-high line there, so is Aasbo. Down off the bank is Gray, nice and tight on the inside clip. And look at the separation here. Aasbo has to shallow up to try to close the door. Gray starts off pretty deep into this zone, a little bit late, but gets deep into this zone, and Aasbo is unable to hang with them.
Here's Aasbo out front, and we're taking a look at this. So look at Aasbo. Great lead position right now, high on the bank. Andrew Gray, as you said, a bobble there, really affected by the transition. And look at Andrew Gray reeling him in. You see that, you know, there's a nice arm wrestling match there. All right, so taking a look, Andrew Gray and Fredric Aasbo. One more time, so it's a split decision across the board, Ryan. So here we go, Charles Ng will lead, Kyle Mohan gives chase. And here is Ng leading through the start chicane. Kyle Mohan, look at that little hesitation there. You're seeing him just be aggressive there, having to back off and back on throttle. Real hiccuping there. Charles Ng had a good qualifying run yesterday in this vehicle. Look at Mohan surging with those rotaries. Where are my rotary fans at? Make some noise. Kyle Mohan applying the pressure. Nice job by Mohan in that chase position. Charles Ng looking like he can find potentially a little more horsepower there.
So a wacky start to the top 32 here. Charles Ng tapping the wall a little bit on initiation there. Kyle Mohan eyeing him up, trying to close the door here as Charles Ng comes off the bank. Mohan down off the bank with him. A little bit of a mistake right there in the lead position by Charles Ng. Now Mohan looking for an area to attack. A little bit of a shallower line, trying to gain that proximity as Charles Ng deep into that zone, and a good finish there by both drivers.
Okay, so here we go. Mohan out front. Oh, Mohan hitting the cone. All right, here we go. Mohan will lead. Mohan, the 20B Mazda MX-5. You can see every bit of the start. Why the slow start here for Mohan? Seems like he's having an issue there coming off the line, and then okay, so Ng jumping the light quite a bit, knowing he's down in horsepower, and you can see now lacking the angle. So Ng is actually jumping the light in order to potentially accommodate that that horsepower difference between him and Mohan, and being very obvious right now. But not only the power, but the angle that Mohan is delivering. Smoking the GT radios. Ryan,
yeah, this just looks like a bad strategic mistake by Charles Ng here, trying to get the jump, doesn't get the timing right, and then he starts off very poorly, not able to get into the rhythm here. He's letting Kyle Mohan stay way out front as Charles Ng was making mistakes on the bank, and then Mohan is having a pretty solid lead here. He gets deep into this zone very early, stays nice and locked in, big smoke line, good consistency by Kyle Mohan, and finishing strong. So Charles Ng having a problem on the start, which led to a big challenge for him on the bank.
The day is done for Charles Ng, Achilles radial, Sogun S14, but who's stoked? Kyle the Menace Mohan. There it is, the Mazda Tricks Mazda GT radial MX-5.
Yeah.
Yep, it's and we've seen again the stars align for certain drivers, and that's the sport of drifting. Gray pulls to the line. Fredric Aasbo will be leading. So here we go. Aasbo will lead. Gray will give chase. This is a one-more-time battle between these gentlemen. Remember, we still have McQuarrie and Faruk. And here we go. Aasbo initiating. Looks very similar and comparable to their first battle. Andrew, great proximity. Look at that banging on the door, that big, oh, but then just as I say that, You saw that, and he just didn't give himself enough room to transition and allow Aasbo to transition in front of him. Had to back off to a great degree and cause him to spin out. So that's it. That's what we talked about, Ryan, that consistency.
Well, after a very split decision in run number 1, or battle number 1, run number 2 here, you can see Aasbo again starts off clean out front. Now watch as Andrew tries to come through the smoke line. He's super close to Aasbo right there. He transitions, hits that bump. He's not able to sustain the line that he was on. He spins out, and he gives Aasbo a very solid advantage going into run number 2.
And here we go. Gray. Gray will lead. Aasbo giving chase. There's Gray. Gray pulling away from Aasbo. Don't think it's a big issue right now if Aasbo wants to get this victory, but look at that. Gray and this Real Street Prepared Power Vehicles Achilles Radial Chaser putting down one heck of a good lead run. This might be a bigger concern for Aasbo. I mean, you know, you saw Gray spin out, but Aasbo has bigger fish to fry, even if he advances here.
Well, Aasbo obviously, you know, getting a big opportunity here to take it down a second time. And with Gray spinning out in run number 1, Aasbo would have needed to zero out in run number 2. He does not do that. And so it'll be a win for Fredric Aasbo. But as you said, he definitely was struggling a bit against Gray. Split decision in the battle number 1, and then falling way behind Gray on run number 2. May have been holding back just a little bit, but obviously now we will go to the judges' scorecards.
Fredric Aasbo gets the win. It's unanimous. I think he got handed a little bit of luck there from Andrew Gray spinning. He was definitely taking a gamble, getting close to him in that transition in the power alley, and then with the transition, you saw him not allowing enough room, and there you have it. So,
yeah, so we're seeing Jhonnattan Castro come out here, and you know, if this event couldn't get any more wild, we're hearing over the radio that Chelsea Denofa will not make it to the line because he's been pulled out of competition for a technical violation.
So now Jhonnattan Castro will automatically advance on with this bye run, as long as he keeps it between the lines, keeps it off the walls, and keeps it sideways. Here we go. Jhonnattan Castro, next in tires, Methyldom, Dominican Republic driver, part of the Papadakis Racing Camp. Jhonnattan Castro will advance on to top 16 as he gets a little bit of a practice run, as he'll advance on to the top 16. So we are to see Tyler McQuarrie and Faruk. We are hearing that Faruk Kugay is out as well. He was the silver 240SX, the S14 that went into the wall. The 5-minute allotted time for his competition timeout was not ample, did not fix the car efficiently, or sufficiently, I should say, and efficiently and sufficiently. So unfortunately, Faruk is out, but Danville's own, the head baby farm manager, him and his and wife and family, they're watching at home. It was his birthday yesterday, so blow out another candle. The candle's over there on the wall, buddy, so blow it out. And the Mobile One, Safecraft, GoPro, Falcon Tires, Chevrolet Camaro. Tyler the Rock McQuarrie initiates another bye run for another driver as McQuarrie advances on. So, Matt Field, Robbie Nishida, our next battle. And here we are, just the progression of the vehicles. You can see the supercharger sticking out, the Vortex Supercharger V8. Then you have the VQ powered G37. I mean, this thing's, you know, both these cars very capable. You're seeing Robbie Nishida just kind of testing his wheels there, utilizing the Voodoo 13. Oh, and we're seeing a cone knocked over, but doesn't look like it's going to impede with what transpired here. So, Matt Field rips through the course. Robbie Nishida, look at that. Gets up to him in the power alley. Matt Field settled, composed, and lighting him up all the way across the finish, knocking off some of those blisters there. I'll break this down, Ryan.
So Matt and Robbie Nishida, you can see snappy transition into initiation there. Gets out a big gap against Robbie Nishida, keeps the angle high as Nishida looks for an opportunity here through the finish, or through the crossover point. Power alley, Matt hits that second inside clip. deep into the second outer zone. Nishida trying to barrel down on him, trying to close the door here, but Field holds him off towards the end.
Okay, so we are now seeing Robbie Nishida. He will lead. Robbie Nishida will lead. Matt Field will give chase. Sun is a-blazing. The tires are a-burning. Some housekeeping. Vanessa Pellet. Vanessa Pellet, bring up your ID. I have your credit card up here. Vanessa Pellet. I have your credit card in the announcer's booth. Again, Vanessa Pellet. I have your debit card. Bring your ID, and I will give you your debit card. Here we go. Robbie Nishida. Robbie Nishida will lead. Matt Field giving chase. Robbie, oh, looks like shutting her down. Unfortunately for Robbie, looks like that will be a wrap for him. Ryan not getting the clean full pulls that we've saw in practice. We've seen a lot of exciting runs, and right now just Gremlins showing their ugly head, man. All right, so let's make it official. Matt Field gets the win. Matt Field gets the win. Robbie Nishida knocked out. You can see Robbie Nishida obviously crawling through. So Matt Field, the 777, coming up, all cherries there.
And Kenny is blazing fast.
Yeah. Here we go. We are seeing and hearing them light up. Here we go. Through that start chicane. Clean start. As Kenny Mohan initiates high on the bank. Stoneback. Back a little bit. Kenny maxing out the angle. Stoneback cutting through the Achilles smoke. Both of them tied to that second front clip. Kenny Mohan, a little bit more angle. Stoneback keeping a consistent distance between him and Kenny Mohan.
Well, we talk about the speed of Kenny Mohan. He demonstrates it here off the gate. You can see getting a good jump here. Stoneback has to tuck on the backside, take a little bit of a lower line here to try to gain proximity. Kenny coming through the bank here. Now off, he's got a big angle here, just goes a little bit long on that inside clip. Now Stoneback surging forward, closing the door a little bit here, trying to get as close as he can as Kenny Mohan on the throttle, big smoke line, wrapping around this last turn and crossing the finish line.
Yeah, Kenny Mohan and Jeff Stoneback seeing competition back in 2014 in Long Beach with Kenny Mohan getting the victory. Jeff Stoneback 33% winning average as opposed to Kenny Mohan's 47%.
Yeah, just
highest qualifying finish for Kenny Mohan. He got first last year in Monroe. Highest finish for Jeff Stoneback. He got 7th in Miami a couple years ago. And Kenny Mohan got 2nd place in 2014 in Long Beach. Here we go, Stoneback. Stoneback leading, initiating. Some wavering, but now getting very settled. That's Kenny Mohan, look at that. Woo! Riding right next to his tire. Having to back off now. Trying to jump forward. Stoneback, a solid lead run. Kenny Mohan just showing some very aggressive moves right now. Make some noise for Kenny Mohan and Jeff Stoneback.
Awesome through the center there with Kenny Mohan, just avoiding what could have been a big mistake. Kenny starts off strong, really tight here to Jeff Stoneback. Jeff is nice and high on the bank, and then right there you can see Kenny riding super close to him. Now a lot of drivers would have backed off there and lost a lot of ground. Kenny backs off just a little bit, but an incredible job avoiding contact there as Jeff Stoneback stays deep into the second outer zone, wrapping back around as Kenny eyes him up for one more time. I mean, an exciting battle here between Jeff Stoneback, who throws down a solid lead, against Kenny Mohan, showing some flair in the chase.
Ryan says, and as does Andy and Brian, Kenny Mohan gets the win. Kenny Mohan gets the win in the Got Bill Wise Fab Run BC BMW. Here we go, our next battle. We are seeing, now finally looks like we are on the other side of the bracket. We are seeing Ryan Tuerck, who qualified 2nd, going against Pat Goodin. Ryan Tuerck in that come out, nameless performance, Hankook tires, SR by Toyota 86, Pat Goodin, supercharged V8, ISR, BC Racing, S13. Ryan Tuerck will lead. Again, as he qualified 2nd, Pat Goodin qualifying 31st. And away they go into that initiation point. 2JZ under the hood of Ryan Tuerck, firing all cylinders. 1552, bronze wheels. Go around with hand-cooked tires. Oh, Pat Goodin. Good transition. You can see those front wheels just correcting there. But not a bad job given what we've seen from some of these other drivers. But Pat Goodin, this is his home track. Him being from here in Orlando. Dropping that bumper.
I really love the way Pat starts here. It's an aggressive start to stay close to Ryan Tuerck. Ryan Tuerck initiates high on the bank. You can see Pat is with him right here. Tuerck maybe getting the better of the bank just by a little bit. But Pat Goodin giving him some pressure now coming through the smoke line here. You see a little bit of a bobble right there by Pat Goodin. Now Tuerck accelerating forward, staying on that deep line, doing a great job here. It's Pat Goodin putting up a fight though.
Ryan Tuerck, 63 events overall. 3 wins, 11 podiums, 2 top 4 finishes, 18 top 8, and 24 top 16. Here we go, and it is Pat Goodin out front. Ryan Tuerck giving chase. Pat Goodin initiates. You can see that front right wheel. And Pat Goodin and Ryan Tuerck applying the pressure through the power alley. Oh, Ryan Tuerck dropping back a bit there as Pat Goodin transitions through. And powering across the finish line for both the drivers.
Well, here we go, Ryan Tuerck and Pat Goodin. Pat Goodin taking the lead here against Ryan Tuerck. Nice and high on the bank by Pat Goodin here. Ryan Tuerck closing the door. And then wrapping back around that inside clip. Tuerck falls off a little bit here. Goodin surging forward, staying deep on that line. Good angle here by Pat Goodin. Ryan Tuerck trying to tow him in, but Pat Goodin taking the lead. Oh, just a slight little bobble there towards the end.
Pat Goodin, Ryan Tuerck going to the judges. Randy, look at that. They're going one more time. They're going at it again, and it's unanimous. Pat Mordunt, Matt Coffman on the start line. 2 V8s. The Ford under the hood of the vehicle of Matt Coffman. Look at that sliding down. And here comes Pat Goodin out front. Peter Paddock, Koenig, Safecraft, Falcon Tires, 350Z. The Falcon Tires on Matt Coffman's vehicle. Coming down, 959. Another Pacific Northwest driver. Past that second front clip. Pat Mordunt looking very calm, collected, and absolutely just hitting all the marks.
Well, Patrick Mordunt certainly having a great event here, looking very solid in practice and qualifying, starting off nice and high on the bank, just barely almost rubbing that wall. Matt Coffman looking for an opportunity here, coming through the power alley through the smoke cloud of Patrick Mordunt. Trying to surge here as Mordunt holding him off, wrapping around this last turn here. Mordunt continuing to stay nice and deep into that zone as Matt Coffman just gets a little bit closer there towards the finish line. Good battle here between these two competitors.
Coffman really gripping up, getting out of the gate. Pat Mordunt has some catching up to do here as Coffman some wavering, getting into the wall's business. This machine was built for it. Look at that, getting some battle damage as Pat Mordunt, look at that. Woo! Nice job by Pat Mordunt. Almost impeding though. Needs to make sure he has some composure, like the aggressive nature. Nice job. The awesome possum, razor sharp teeth.
Well, Coffman gets out of the gate blazing, and Mordunt sees and say, I got to catch up here, as Matt Coffman taps the wall, rides the wall all the way through. He goes off a little bit wide here. Now this is where Pat is able to close the door. Matt should have come off a bit earlier there, not stayed on the bank that long. And then you can see right here, Matt goes up on the outer bank. Mordunt pushing hard, closing the door here right across the finish line. So great battle here between these two guys.
Knocked out. Matt Coffman is knocked out in his Roush Ford-powered S13. Michael Essa and Bluss never seeing battle against each other. 45 events for Michael Essa, 2 wins, 4 podiums, 2 top 4 finishes. And here we go. Essa will lead. Essa qualifying 7th. Kristaps qualifying 26th. Michael Essa, 2013 Formula Drift champion. He won in Palm Beach here 3 years ago, and 3 years ago at Texas Motor Speedway. Here we go, Essa initiates. Look at that. Absolutely rock solid from Michael Essa, but Kristaps Bluss applying the pressure, diving through the smoke. Whoa! Both of them splitting and separating here. Want to see what happened here. Was there contact? Did Kristaps get bothered by it? Let's take a look, Ryan.
First base, you can see Essa in the lead position, Bluss in the chase. Bluss with a little bit less angle, lower line. Essa right up against that wall. Now watch as he comes, both drivers come through. Bluss is going to go to the left, and Essa's going to go to the right, independently. So now Bluss goes off course pretty dramatically. Essa actually stops drifting. I don't think the judges will score Bluss, obviously. He drove on the inside of the clipping point, but let's take a look at it one more time. You can see both drivers off the bank. Right there is where Essa's going to lose it, and then that's where Bluss is going to lose it. So both drivers are completely off course.
Which one of these BMWs is going to progress? Kristaps Bluss initiates. Michael Essa right there. Nice. These guys are out for blood. Good job by Bluss. And Essa with a correction. So Essa, an absolute smokescreen from the lead BMW. Alternate the order, but Kristaps kept it together in that lead position.
Well, Kristaps Bluss, a very aggressive driver. These tandem BMWs here. Bluss comes through on this inside clip. Now Essa through the smoke line and then just is not able to make the transition. Makes a mistake, shuts it down, and Bluss is off to the races and the top 16.
Bluss and the HGK Latvian BMW slide him left for Kristaps Bluss. Gets the victory. Michael Essa knocked out in the loudmouth exhaust. Achilles radial Essa Autosports BMW. Kristaps advances on. Man, unfortunately for Michael Essa, the smoke. But even in his lead run, looks like he was having some trouble there with that transition in the power alley. Okay, here we are. We are seeing Pat Goodin warming up his tires. Ryan Tuerck warming up his. Ryan Tuerck will lead. Gum out. Nameless Performance. Hankook Tires. SR by Toyota 86. As Pat Goodin, ISR, BC Racing, S13 will give chase. Ryan Tuerck from New Hampshire. Follow his web series Tuercked on Network A. Here we go. Tuerck with that flick feint entry. High on the wall, Pat Goodin right there. Let's see how he does here in this transition. We've seen a lot of drivers affected by the smoke. Pat Goodin definitely, that is going to hurt his score and the outcome of this run as Ryan Tuerck brings it across the finish line. But we've seen when they alternate the order and in that chase position, they are definitely getting blinded by the smoke.
Yeah, that transition is absolutely brutal. Ken Gushi talks about driving through it with muscle memory. You can see starting off strong is Tuerck. Goodin gets a good jump, but a little bit lower line on the bank, and then right here is Tuerck, hits that inside clip. Right through the smoke line is Pat Goodin. He sees that he's on the inside line, he hits that rubber stomper and the inside clip, loses angle, makes a big mistake there, gives an advantage to Tuerck on run number one.
Good knocking off his front bumper, back bumper. Hopefully he can get it together, and you can see that front fender missing his car. Taking a licking, but keeping on ticking. That supercharged V8. Looks like Pat Goodin on the wall. Ryan Tuerck. Doesn't seem to me, Ryan, that there's as much smoke coming off Goodin's vehicle as much as Tuerck put in the face of Goodin. So he was able to navigate that, and it looks like the mistake as Goodin shoots that final course marker off the course. Looks like that'll be all she wrote for Goodin, but Ryan Tuerck will advance.
Well, Pat Goodin starts off pretty strong here, stays nice and high on the bank. Tuerck on a little bit of lower line. I imagine his spotter told him, hey, Pat Goodin made a pretty sizable mistake on run number one. Don't do anything crazy here. He gives a little bit of distance to Pat Goodin. I mean, this is a solid run by Pat in the lead position, but that chase mistake looks like it'll be too much to overcome.
Slide him right for Ryan Tuerck. Unfortunately, Pat Goodin got Tuercked. Ryan Tuerck gets the win and advancing on to the top 16 in his gum out nameless performance hand-cooked tires SR by Toyota 86. And we are again our next battle, Forrest Wang versus Alec Honadale. This is an all Get Nuts laboratory battle. So Lorette caught up with the rising star that is Alec Honadale.
Unfortunately, this has been a little bit of a rough start to his weekend with an alternator failure and going into the wall. Alec, what is going on?
I don't know. Maybe this is heat causing some bad luck, but it's really hot out here, and we're ready to put on a good show for y'all, and hopefully the car is going to get ready for tonight's event. So. Okay,
now your team is working real hard on putting everything back together. Walk us through what's happening.
So yesterday on our first qualifying run, the alternator went out, wouldn't start. We didn't want to use our 5 minutes because you only get one per event. So we forfeited that one, went to the second run, got an 82, put us in 23rd place, and then now we're up against my teammate Forrest Wang, top 32. Should be a fun battle. And then today we went out and practiced, threw in a little bit more grip in the car. Maybe I wasn't anticipating it right, and I went into the wall, broke my subframe, tie rods, and a few rear suspension parts. Going to get that fixed hopefully and be out there for top 32.
Okay. Now what are you expecting going against your teammate?
A lot of style, a lot of smoke, and a lot of angle.
But you got it handled, right?
Yeah, I think we both got it handled. We both know each other very well, so it'll be a fun, straight-up battle.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Guys?
Well, there it is. You're seeing Forrest Wang, the head scientist at Get Nuts Laboratory. Forrest Wang. These guys have never seen battle against each other. Alec Honadale, Floridian. This is his, what would you call it, his junior year. He made his debut, really made some noise. And him and his family, a family affair out here, his mom and dad, and basically went to Get Nuts Laboratory last year, and now he's working with both shops. So on his third year, he's working with Get Nuts Laboratory and Enjuku Racing, and it's great to see him have some fun out here. He has a fun Instagram, nice fun young man in the sport of drifting. So here we go. We are seeing Forrest Wang lead, Alec Honadale giving chase. Here comes Wang. That big Race Factory wing getting up to the wall. Alec Honadale, you saw him getting to the wall earlier today. Unfortunately, bought him some time with all the wackiness that ensued out here on track. And Alec Honadale, nice job there. Gets aggressive, has to back off a little bit, loses some angle, but Forrest Wang powers through, keeps it consistent all the way through the course.
Well, you got to imagine these guys are bummed against each other, but look at that big flick right there by Forrest Wang. He basically pretty much makes it, stays in angle, but Alec is right there next to him. And then Alec right here, big power move on the inside, through the smoke line, tucks up right there, makes a little bit of a tap, keeps his angle, Forrest stays in it. This is what happens when both guys are comfortable driving with each other on this course, teammates here. And a great start to run number one for Alec Honadale.
Yeah,
Forrest Wang.
All the money's on the table, guys, as far as this camp goes, and some beers will be shared later, but right now, gloves are off. These guys are going some bare-knuckle boxing. Honadale, you can see the supercharger sticking out, so, you know, it's funny, the Get Nuts Laboratory operating in Las Vegas, Forrest Wang, adamant about the 2JZ build, the engine under his hood, the BC internals. Alec Honadale, he's been running a V8 since his, oh, we got a checkered flag, or we got a red flag here. And that will be a restart. And Alec Honadale seeing the red flag, that is a restart. We saw the cone being hit. So that will be a restart. This is a rerun. That is a null and void run there for Honadale and Wang. Forrest Wang has requested some tires, so we'll see the second half of this battle. So we're getting some fresh tires underneath Forrest Wang and Alec Honadale's vehicle. A no competition timeout is needed as Odi Bakchis enters OSW here, and Jeff Jones. Okay. All right, let's go down to Lorette. She caught up with one of our drivers earlier.
Hey guys, well I just wanted a chance to catch up with Odi Bakchis sitting in his car. Odi, let's talk about Atlanta. There was some flames thrown. What happened there?
You know, it's kind of normal when we push the car really hard. When we lift off throttle, there's some unburnt fuel that goes through the exhaust system, and it ends up coming out and burning as it comes out still. So We happened to be pushing really hard there, so you saw some flames.
And there was some flames here in Orlando. Walk us through that.
Yeah, the flames here in Orlando were not so normal. We ended up finding a lot of rubber underneath the car building up in the exhaust. There's basically on top of the pipes where all the cylinders come into one. And I think we got that rubber to ignite after a good solid run. So we got to pick rubber out once in a while, apparently, so it doesn't ignite under the car. And hopefully that was it.
Okay. With that, is the car 100%?
Yeah, we're still making fine adjustments and finding ways to make it better, but I'd say we're on a good track.
Odie, thank you so much. Best of luck.
All right, there we are. We are seeing Odie Bakchis, Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones doing double duty. He got on the podium last night. He got Pro 2. He got second place. He's leading charge there in Pro 2. And yesterday, he definitely made the highlight reel in a different way, in more ways than one. You know, getting on the podium and losing a couple tires. But here we go. Going to keep underneath the vehicle. Odie Bakchis lighting him up. Falcon tires. Arc Performance. Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Oh, Jeff Jones shutting her down. Having a hard time in the power alley. Struggling to keep up as Odie Bakchis. Yeah. The Arc Performance Fuel Suspension Falcon tires. Hyundai Genesis.
There's not much to see here as Odie Bakchis comes out charging. And Jeff Jones is struggling on the second half of the course here. You can see Odie, big smoke line off the bank. Really good job on that inside flip. Now this is where Jeff is going to shut it down a little bit here. He does try to reinitiate and finish the run, but pretty much a non-factor as Odie finishes up a strong lead run there. And now we'll go to the start line. And we are hearing that Jeff Jones broke an axle, so it's going to be a competition timeout for him.
As Mad Mike and Ken Gushi enter OSW Orlando Speed World, Lorette Nickel caught up with the Kiwi, that is Mad Mike Whiddett. All right, here we go, Ken Gushi. Mad Mike Whiddett. The Goosh got into a tussle with the wall. Mad Mike Whiddett coming off of that victory in Japan in Humble. It was essentially a very similar setup, but very different chassis, but a 4-rotor twin-turbo engine setup. And Ryan, you're talking about how he liked the setup so much. He's taking all those settings and bringing them here to what he's called Rad Bull. A lot of bulls in his stable. It looks like he's more creating a farm versus actually building cars with all these bulls. But we are seeing Ken Gushi, Mad Mike Whiddett, Ken Gushi. Oh, and that's a cone hit. That's a cone hit. That's a cone hit. Let's get them restarted. Let's stop them. Nope, Mad Mike Whiddett. All right. Yeah, it looked like Ken Gushi saw the restart light, and Mad Mike Whiddett just figured he was kind of shutting it down, was going to go around him, but I'm glad they saw it. So Goosh with the 2JZ powered SR by Toyota 86, Gretty Performance, Boost Brigade on Nexen tires. Mad Mike Whiddett, the Red Bull Mazda MX-5 on Nitto tires, deemed Rad Bull. And here we go, the Goosh out front. Oh, we got a full pull. Here we go. It's got a clean start here. Gushi initiates. Mad Mike Whiddett. The horns are out on Rad Bull. Man, Mad Mike Whiddett absolutely applying the pressure. Savage is Mad Mike Whiddett right now. Ken Gushi keeping it calm, though. He knows he's just got to keep it sideways, keep it consistent. But, man, Mad Mike Whiddett making his presence felt here in Orlando Speed World.
That was very Daigo-y. Super, super close, a little bit of wavering, but very aggressive in the chase. Now Ken Gushi out front, nice and high on the bank. You can see the little bit of wavering from Mike. He's not completely locked in, but it's a very impressive skill set that Mike has in staying so close to Ken Gushi. Gushi, meanwhile, nice solid lead out front, very deep into that first outer zone, or that second outer zone all the way through. Very pretty lead run for Ken Gushi, and a very aggressive chase right up on the back bumper of Ken Gushi pretty much all the way by Mad Mike Whiddett, just with a little bit of wavering there. So Gushi's got his work cut out for him, and Mike needs to run a very similar line to Gushi, not run away, and make this a competitive battle here. Find out who's going to move on to the top 16. Well, Jared,
Ryan.
Things could not get funkier. They just did.
Absolutely insane-o. Mad Mike Whiddett with just an absolute solid chase run. Ken Gushi with a great lead run. Probably one of the best battles, straightforward. But it wouldn't be the craziest top 32. I'd have to say right now that we've seen ever without a tire being debeated. Mad Mike Whiddett, his tire has been debeated. It's that back right.
Basically, you cannot change your tires between runs, and the tires need to last 2 laps. So unfortunately for Mad Mike Whiddett, he has no alternative here. A competition timeout wouldn't save him, and so he is going to have to bow out of competition. Now, that might be confusing for some people because we saw Jeff Jones basically make his way around after losing a tire, and the judges can score a run when a tire debeads in qualifying, but in tandem, because of the competitive advantage gained when you are able to change a tire and get back to the grid, the regulations don't allow that. And so because you can't actually put a debeated tire back on as well in rebeating the tire in ways that sometimes that can happen, Mad Mike is out of competition, sadly.
So this is just the progression of the rules and the sport, and unfortunately, we don't want this to reoccur on numerous occasions. So Ken Gushi, this is his bye run. He gets a lucky stroke there, but I mean, he's no slouch by any means. He had a great lead run. Mike had a great chase run, but unfortunately, his tire debeating. That means Ken Gushi will advance on. Mad Mike Whiddett has come to a halt after his tire has debeated and unable to utilize a competition timeout because the rules stipulate. Here's the second run from these two Gittin Laboratories drivers. It's Forrest Wang in the green, S15. Gittin Laboratory, hand-cooked tires, S15. Originally from Hawaii, now in Las Vegas, Nevada. Alec Honadale in Juku Racing, Gittin Laboratory. Supercharged V8, S14. Here we go. Alec Honadale will be leading Forrest Wang, our starter, ensuring that, you could see Alec Honadale losing all of his body parts. That rear over fender looks like it was a little bit loose, but give it a quick yank, and it looks like it will stick. Here we go. Alec Honadale out front. And as Alec initiates, Forrest Wang right there. This is the second half of this battle as Forrest Wang, man, having to cut through that smoke. As Alec Honadale and his fender and Forrest Wang. Alec Honadale says bye Felicia to all his body parts.
Well, here we go. Alec Honadale and Forrest Wang. The second half of this battle here. We'll take a look at the first run when we get done here, but a strong battle between both guys. Nice and high in the bank by Honadale. Wang is there, comes through the smoke line, stays in it. Nice job by Honadale wrapping around that inside clip and getting deep into that second zone very early, losing the bumper there, but Wang staying with him here. A great run, and you can see how much promise this young Alec Honadale has. Now here's run number 1, so compare for yourself. Big flick by Forrest Wang. Known for that, stays in it. Big angle here. Huge smoke line. Alec closing the door here off the bank. Nice job on that inside clip. Forrest, a little bit of lack of angle coming across the middle there. And then you can see that tap by Alec. Forrest stays in it. Great job by both guys. Hard run to judge here.
As slide him left for Alec, slide him right for Wang. And look at this. Will the young Jedi take out the master? And look at that, 2-1. Alec Honadale takes out Forrest Wang. And so the V8 runs deep. Chris Forsberg, Cameron Moore, they are scheduled next full battle, but we still have the battle between Odie and Jones. As you saw Jones pull off the course early. Take a photo of you watching today's event, and you can win a set of Drift's wheels. Here comes Odie bakchis with his bye run, advancing him into the top 16. His V8-powered Hyundai Genesis Coupe on Falcon tires. The ARC Performance, Field Suspension, Hyundai Genesis. Wrightwood, California. His wife Amy, his spotter, and shredding some bumper for some good measure. Grew a tail and shredded that bumper skin off. It's a Formula Drift rookie in Cameron Moore. Nameless Performance, SC chassis. 68.5 winning percentage, one of the highest in the field, and you gotta consider how many runs he's actually had. As we are seeing Chris Forsberg leave the line, and Cameron Moore giving chase. Chris Forsberg initiates, great angle, lighten him up. These guys saw battle against each other in Long Beach. It was a wet scenario. Cameron Moore definitely aggressive. as he's from the Pacific Northwest. Forsberg locked and loaded. Cameron Moore right there. Smokes him across the finish line and finishes it out.
A rookie Cameron Moore not too shabby here as Forsberg takes a nice solid lead out front. You can see nice and high on the bank. Moore sticking with him. A little bit less angle there by Moore. Forsberg comes off right at the right time. You can see nice and tight on that inside clip. Unable to shake Moore though. Moore a little bit of mistake over the finish or the middle section there. And then Forsberg locks into this last outer zone. Moore closed the door towards the finish line, so near perfect lead run by Chris Forsberg. But Cameron Moore looking very impressive in his rookie year, sticking to the two-time champ.
Cameron Moore and Chris Forsberg going against each other again in Long Beach. Chris got the win. Taking a look at Chris Forsberg's stats, 79 events overall, 8 wins, 28 podiums, 6 top 4 finishes. And here we go, Cameron Moore initiating into the bank. Cameron Moore, nice on the wall, great angle from Moore. Is he going to take down Chris Forsberg? Cameron, good transition. Forsberg lunging forward, taking a stab, backing off a bit. Look at Cameron getting settled. Cameron losing a bit of angle, getting up on that yellow line. Nice job by Cameron Moore. Man, Cameron gets dealt some big hands and some big battles to go against.
Well, Cameron Moore is putting on a battle here against Chris Forsberg. Nice job starting off high. You can see right here Forsberg drops down for a second there and tries to close the door as Cameron Moore comes off. Was a little bit long on that inside clip. Forsberg surges forward on the attack. Moore hitting that inside clip, now shooting out wide, enters the last outer zone very early, stays in it. Forsberg eyeing him up on the back bumper, keeping some separation here as Moore just goes up on the lower bank. And now we go to the judges' scorecard.
And Chris Forsberg unanimously gets the win. Ryan, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is this the final battle of top 32?
So,
Justin Pawlak.
You've made it this far.
Right. So, again, Justin Pawlak, Dean Kearney. Let's see who comes out on top for our final battle of the top 16. Got a clean start through the chicane. Dean, aggressive. Look at that. Nice job by Dean Kearney. Great angle from JTP, Justin Pawlak. Pawlak ripping and tearing earlier yesterday, man. Showing up yesterday before qualifying. And look at that. Dialed, settled. He is absolutely on rails. Dean falls back a little bit, maintains his angle. Great driving by both these guys. Now
this initiation from the chase position by Dean is exactly what you're looking for. As soon as he initiates, he's right on the bumper of Justin Pawlak. Now JTP, great angle, nice high line on the bank. Now watch this, Dean's gonna come through the smoke line here. He's gonna wash out a little bit and he's gonna give it a big distance to Justin Pawlak. So JTP's gonna have a near flawless lead run. You can see here that Dean is now playing catch up as he made that mistake like so many drivers have.
JTP, Justin Pawlak, calls a competition timeout. Welcome back. We are here and seeing Dean Kearney on the start line. Justin Pawlak utilizing his one and only competition timeout, 5 minutes, and we are seeing JTP chasing down the likes of Dean Kearney. No cones hit. We got a clean start. Justin Pawlak dropping into formation behind the Viper. Got a battle of animals. Whoa, the wing flying off. Slapping the Mustang in the face. Dean Kearney exploding that back wing. Justin Pawlak staying in it. As Dean and the Achilles radials burn across the finish line. Oh! And a rotation by Dean Kearney. Makes some noise for Dean Kearney and Justin Pawlak. Watch this wing.
This is just about the craziest sport ever. Right here, Dean Kearney exploding his wing. Justin Pawlak unfazed, staying in it. Both drivers battling through in the top 32 here with Justin Pawlak closing the door on Dean as he's got great angle. Stays really, really deep into this line. But remember, going back to run number 1, Dean made that big mistake coming across the power alley, and then here we go again on the finish here. Dean and Dean and Justin Pawlak. No way to tell of contact there. Dean was at full angle. Made that big mistake in run number 1.
Here we go. Slide him left for Dean. Slide him right for Pawlak. Ryan says Pawlak, Andy says Pawlak, and Brian says Justin Pawlak, JTP, Justin Pawlak, and the Roush Performance Falcon Tires, Weld Racing Wheels, Lucas Oil, Ford Mustang advances on. The Achilles Radio Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper of Dean Carnage Kearney is knocked out, but definitely put on a sensational run that'll make the highlight reel, just living up to his name. That wing became some carnage.